Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, let's call the pre-council to order. It's good to see everyone as always. Is there a motion we approve of the minutes?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. Mr. Mills, you're the only one up today.
Good afternoon, Council and Mayor.
Good afternoon.
I have 5 applications tonight, 4 public hearings, and 1 special event less than 7 days. The first public hearing we have is for Big Bad Breakfast located at 520 19th Avenue. This is a map view of the proposed location. Second one is the aerial view of their location. They're applying for a restaurant retail liquor license.
Are they already open without liquor?
Yes, sir. All right. So the second one I have is Made in Mexico Tacos and Tequila. They're going at 1241 McFarland Boulevard. They're applying for a restaurant retail liquor license. Okay. All right, and my third applicant is Anchor Drops Tiki Bar and Kitchen. They're applying for a restaurant retail liquor license located at 2217 University Boulevard. This area view of the proposed locations, Bistro 17 was the previous location, right beside Charms. Mm-hmm. All right. The fourth applicant we have is Rhythm and Brews. However, they've asked that we withdraw the application from the docket. They were applying for increased occupancy. And then the last applicant I have is for Downtown Entertainment. They're applying for a special events retail less than 7 days at 5 GAM on 976 University Boulevard, and for KA Parents Weekend at 416 University Boulevard. And those are all the applicants I have this week.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Mills? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mayor Maddox, anything today?
No, sir.
We have an executive session?
Yes, sir. We're requesting 3 items in executive session.
Gotcha. Thank you. Any other department comments or announcements? Okay. Oh, I did want to say to everyone, if you haven't heard, you remember Rolf, they had the German restaurant. He lost his house in a fire this week. And if you're interested, they're such a great family, and there's some efforts being made if you go to Facebook to help with the donations. But that's a terrible tragedy. Him and his wife and 2 daughters are fine, but their house is not. All right, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
Before I start on my traditional briefing of the agenda, I do want to point out for you, since you may not see it just here this afternoon, up item F under consent agenda, you will be setting a public hearing to consider the revocation of the business license for Crew Lounge, but that is on the consent agenda, so you won't hear about it independently. Down below that, I am just down below Mr. Mills' last alcohol license, where on page 19 you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute an automatic aid agreement with the Duncanville Fire Department. This came from Public Safety last week. On page 20, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute an automatic aid agreement with Inglewood Hulls Volunteer Fire Department. Again, this came from Public Safety last week. On page 21, you'll be authorizing a temporary expansion of the downtown entertainment district hours for Saturday, March 23rd of 2024. This is for the half marathon and came from Public Safety last week. On page 22, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with Troy University for a practicum for social work students. This is with Chief Smith, I believe, and again was discussed in Public Safety last week. Sorry, do you have a question, Mr. Busby?
No.
I
do. Where's Kay? Is she in here? So on the expanded downtown entertainment district hours for Saturday,
Yes, sir.
for Saturday, March 23rd,
I think it's March
It's got it-
25th off the top of my head.
It says 23rd,
Well,
2024. Why is it on Sunday from noon until 9:30?
that shouldn't be.
Am I missing something?
March 23rd is a Saturday.
The half is on Saturday.
Yeah, the half is Saturday morning, I think. That top paragraph, am I reading that wrong, Mr. Holmes? Times, from 11 a.m. and on Sunday,
That is when the
from
original.
12 noon until 9:30.
That is
Is
the
that what we're
original entertainment.
amending?
That is the original entertainment district that was when that was created.
Okay, so all we're doing is adding Saturday morning, right?
Yes, sir. You're just making the one-time exception
Okay.
for that
The
date.
marathon
And
race.
additional hours from 7 a.m. to 11, to 11. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. On page 23, you'll be authorizing the chief of police to execute a memorandum of agreement between Tuscaloosa Police Department and the American Society of Crime Laboratory regarding the ASCLD accreditation initiative, and you heard about that in public safety last week. On page 24, you'll be authorizing the mayor to
Did
execute.
we have public safety last week?
Yeah.
Yes, that was okay. I'm gonna shut up for the rest of this.
You were here.
About 0, I'm going back to sleep.
On page 24, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a professional services contract with Alabama Training Networks. This is a total not to exceed $22,500 and was on projects last week. On page 25, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Straight Line Fence LLC. That is for a total of $7,380 and was on projects last week. On page 26, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Renovations Plus LLC. This is for a total of $6,500 and was on projects last week. On page 27, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with PCI Technologies. This is a total of $1,175 and was on projects last week. On page 28, you'll be authorizing minor public works contract with Alertus. This is a total of $1,894 and came to you on projects last week. On page 29, you'll be authorizing minor public works contract with Video Industrial Services. This is a total of $50,750. And again, this was on projects last week. On page 30, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Robinson and Sons Construction Services. This is a total of $25,400 and again came to you in projects last week. On page 31, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with James Thomas DBA Stripes. This is a total of $12,035 and again was on projects last week. On page 32, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment from National Auto Fleet Group. This is a total of $59,414.06. It is for a Ford F-150 with a 1,300-pound steel gate. This comes to you from IT and from our purchasing division, so this is a previously budgeted purchase that is being made. On page 33, you'll be authorizing disbursement from District 1 improvement funds for the Benjamin Barnes YMCA 2024 programming. That is a total of $1,000. Excuse me. And came to you on finance last week. On page 34 and 35, you'll be introducing zoning amendment number 1522 to rezone approximately 0.91 acres located at 719 Skyland Boulevard East from BH to BN. That comes to you from the Planning Commission. On page 36, you'll be reappointing members to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, which was discussed in pre-council last week. On page 37, you'll be authorizing amendment number 1 to FY 2024 Water and Sewer Funds budget, and this came to you from Finance last week. And on page 38, you'll be setting February 27th as the date for public hearing to consider the adoption of zoning amendment 1522, and that comes to you from the Planning Commission. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Scott?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Today we have projects, finance, litigation, insurance, and then 6 o'clock council meeting. Tomorrow night, the last day of January, we have a special call Planning and Zoning Commission meeting framework code update in the council chambers. I encourage each of you to, while we've got time right now, is to meet with Ashley and Zach. I did yesterday, even though tomorrow is focused on Mr. Crow's district. I had some questions concerning, especially how that, something I saw might affect Alberta especially. And so we had a really productive meeting, I thought, and I appreciate it. And I've got a much better understanding. So I think just that one-on-one with Zach or Ashley or both would be greatly beneficial before it comes to your district.
That's right.
Because I think it's coming to District 1
Right.
next. Am I right? Okay.
Right. That's right.
Mr. President, can I just, the
Please.
meeting that I went to with Zach and Ashley was very informative. It's very good, and I've been very pleased that they have made a point of reaching out to a lot of stakeholders in the district.
Mm-hmm.
But I would encourage all citizens to come from District 3 to this meeting on Wednesday night if they have any issues or questions. And if their questions are not answered Wednesday night, that we will get an answer for them. And I'm planning on putting stuff out on social media. I know the city is, that we want people's input and making sure that something isn't missed, but really to kind of understand what's going on. But I think it's fair to say that there are not any radical changes to any zoning in District 3 that's coming up for discussion on Wednesday night. And I think the airport is included in this too.
Yes, sir.
Zach, so it's now in District 1. So I think it's,
For tomorrow night.
tomorrow night is that District 3.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, so anyway, it's 5 o'clock tomorrow night, council chamber, so I just would encourage everybody to come out and support it, listening and see what questions they've got.
And just as a quick note, I know those meetings, often you hear planning and zoning commission and you go, oh my gosh, I could be here all night. These are meetings that we have put time limits on. We're going from 5 until 7. And if we don't get done with a topic, we will roll it into the next meeting. Because we want to be very cognizant of everyone's time and not just drone on all night.
So we got, I think as a group, the council got a request from a lady who's with one of the neighborhood organizations wanting to know if council wanted to collaborate in setting up additional meetings in their districts because the time and the location weren't convenient. Did y'all see that?
I did. I'm not. Go ahead.
To my district, the currently set meetings are convenient. They're right here within walking distance. So I'm probably not going to try to do anything separate. But there was an implication in there that y'all were nodding north and south on this.
No.
No.
You're nodding east and west over there.
Our heads are remaining neutral, because, well, in fairness, this has been a very open, very transparent, and very accessible process, from start to finish. And so, we've had, as Mr. Crow pointed out, we have been in contact with stakeholders. We know who we need to reach out to, and we trust that y'all are reaching out to your constituents, and that neighbors are spreading the word. If
Okay.
someone has a small concern, if Carly needs to look at something, that I look at Carly and say, hey, you should take a look at the property next to yours. And the ability for everyone to take a look at it as opposed to having to make a certain time, I think it's more accessible this way.
Ashley, is it, when I say this, please tell me I'm saying this right, I mean to. But this is one presentation for District 3.
Yeah.
And we will actually vote on this together comprehensively. So if there are questions beyond the Wednesday night meeting, people can still get those questions answered. And if we need more time to review things, we can do that. That doesn't mean the window's closed on discussing District 3 if they don't show up on Wednesday night. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've gotten comments from citizens that have been very positive about the process, and I appreciate y'all doing that. But this doesn't mean, Mr. President, that people cannot still study and look at this and ask questions as we look for the next several weeks.
This is not the be all end all. It's
That's
online.
right.
That's right. It's been out there for a while.
Yeah.
I told, I agree with Mr. Busby. I'm not interested in a separate meeting, for my district. Cause I think the ones I've met with several who were already contacted by y'all. And then I think to have 7 separate meetings puts too much on staff, and I'm not going to do it. I know that. So, anyway. Any other comments, communication from anyone in the room? Okay, is there a motion to go into executive session?
Moved. Second.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes, sir. We have 3 items for executive session, and they're all 3 from separate exceptions to the Open Meetings Act. So as your city attorney and attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can certify that these items are to discuss with their attorney the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation, controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to be litigated, or imminently likely to be litigated if the governmental body pursues a proposed course of action, as well as to discuss security plans, procedures, assessments, measures, or systems, or the security and safety of persons, structures, facilities, or other infrastructure, including without limitation critical infrastructure, the public disclosure of which could be reasonably expected to be detrimental to the public safety and welfare. And also to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the governmental body is in competition with private individuals or entities or other governmental bodies in Alabama and other states or foreign nations, the discussions of which would have a detrimental effect upon the competitive position of a party to the negotiations or upon the location, retention, expansion, or upgrading of a public employee or business entity in the area served by the governmental body if disclosed outside of executive session.
Okay, I have a motion and second to go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,